Google Pixel 11 leaks are starting to paint a clear picture of Google's next big smartphone lineup, and if you're planning to upgrade in 2026, this could be the most important Pixel launch in years. Not because Google is reinventing the phone again, but because the Pixel 11 series looks set to deliver smarter AI features, brighter displays, a new Tensor G6 chip, and a 4-model lineup that covers everything from a standard flagship to a foldable, while pricing could become the biggest question mark of the entire release. So in this script, we're breaking down everything we know so far from Pixel 11 series rumors, expected launch timing, possible prices, leaked specs for the Pixel 11, Pixel 11 Pro, Pixel 11 Pro XL, and Pixel 11 Pro Fold, plus what Google might be planning with Android 17 and Gemini intelligence. Let's start with the first thing most people want to know. When is the Pixel 11 series coming out? Based on Google's recent launch pattern, the Pixel 11 series is expected to be unveiled in August 2026. The last two Pixel generations moved from the traditional October window to August, and if Google sticks with that strategy, Pixel 11 should follow the same schedule. An August Pixel launch also makes strategic sense. It gives Google room to grab attention before Apple's September iPhone cycle and creates a clear runway ahead of end-of-year holiday sales. The exact date hasn't been confirmed, but if you're tracking Pixel 11 release date leaks, August is the window to watch. Pixel 11 price rumors. The biggest concern this year. Now let's talk about the topic that could decide whether the Pixel 11 becomes a must-buy or a wait for a deal. Phone. Price. Smartphone pricing has become harder to predict every year. And 2026 is looking even tougher because RAM and storage component costs are rising sharply. That's not just a Pixel problem. It's affecting the entire industry. Even Apple has signaled that price increases may be unavoidable for upcoming products, and when one major brand moves, the rest of the market usually follows. Google hasn't confirmed anything about Pixel 11 pricing, but if the company tries to maintain last year's structure, the rumored lineup could look like this. Pixel 11, $799 Pixel, 11 Pro, $999 Pixel, 11 Pro, XL, $199 Pixel 11 Pro. Fold, $1,799, but here's the reality. Keeping prices flat may require cost-saving compromises. One of the biggest rumors is that Google could ship the base Pixel 11 with 8 GB of RAM in some configurations to avoid a price hike. That would help Google hit the same starting price. But it could also create a bigger gap between the standard model and the Pro models, especially as AI features become more memory-hungry. So the Pixel 11 series might not become expensive because Google wants it to. Pixel 11 could become expensive because the parts themselves are getting more expensive. Pixel 11 series lineup. 4 phones, 4 different audiences leaks suggest Google is preparing 4 Pixel 11 models. Pixel 11 Pixel 11, Pro Pixel 11, Pro, XL Pixel 11 Pro Fold. That lineup covers the mainstream flagship buyer, the best camera and AI buyer, the big screen power user, and the foldable early adopter, all under one Pixel umbrella. And if Google executes this well, the Pixel 11 series could be one of the most complete Android lineups of 2026. Pixel 11 design, expect familiarity, not a redesign. If you're expecting a dramatic design overhaul, don't. Most rumors suggest the Pixel 11 series will keep a similar design language to the previous generation, focusing on internal upgrades and software-driven features rather than a radical exterior change. That's not necessarily bad. Pixel phones have built a recognizable identity, and Google's real advantage has never been about flashy hardware. It's about camera processing, AI tools, and clean Android experiences that feel smarter than the competition. Tensor G6, the chip powering the Pixel 11 series, every model in the Pixel 11 lineup is expected to run Google's next in-house processor, the Tensor G6, and this matters because Tensor is the foundation for Google's Pixel identity. It's not just about raw benchmark performance, it's about running Google's AI features efficiently, powering advanced camera computation, improving speech recognition, and enabling on-device intelligence. If Tensor G6 brings even modest efficiency improvements, it could translate into better battery life, smoother sustained performance, and faster AI tasks, especially as Google pushes Gemini deeper into the Pixel experience. Android 17 and Gemini intelligence, the Pixel 11's main selling point. The Pixel 11 series is expected to ship with Android 17 And the headline feature category will almost certainly be AI. Google is rumored to expand Gemini intelligence across the Pixel 11 lineup, which could include more advanced on-device assistance, smarter summarization tools, better voice features, improved photo and video editing, and deeper system-level AI integration. This is where Pixel phones typically separate themselves. Pixels often feel like they can do more with the same hardware because Google's software is tuned specifically for the device. And with the Pixel 11 series, the message seems clear. Modest hardware changes, major AI expansion, Pixel 11 display leaks. Brighter screens and pro-level panels display specs are one of the most detailed parts of the Pixel 11 leak cycle so far. And the big story is brightness. Pixel 11, standard model, is rumored to feature a 6.3-inch LTPO AMOLED, display 120Hz refresh rate up to 3100 nits peak. Brightness. Pixel 11 Pro is rumored to feature a 6.3-inch Super Actua LTPO OLED, display 120Hz refresh rate up to 3600 nits peak. Brightness. Pixel 11 Pro XL is rumored to feature a 6.8-inch Super Actua LTPO OLED, display 120Hz refresh rate up to 3600 nits peak brightness. And the Pixel 11 Pro Fold is rumored to feature an 8-inch inner display, 6.4-inch outer display, 120Hz, refresh rate up to 3600 nits peak brightness. If these brightness numbers are accurate, Google is targeting one of the biggest everyday complaints people have about phones: outdoor visibility. A brighter display isn't just a spec, it's something you feel every day, especially if you use your phone outside, commute, travel, or shoot photos in daylight. Pixel 11 RAM and storage options. Where the Pro models separate themselves, memory and storage are where the Pixel 11 lineup could clearly split into tiers. Pixel 11 is rumored to offer Tensor G6 8GB to 12GB, RAM 128GB or 256GB. Storage. Pixel 11 Pro and Pixel 11 Pro XL are rumored to offer Tensor G6 12GB to 16GB. RAM 256GB, 12GB, or 1TB storage. Pixel 11 Pro Fold is rumored to offer Tensor G6 16GB, RAM 256GB, 512GB, or 1TB storage. If Google is serious about Gemini-powered features, RAM will matter more than ever, especially for multitasking, on-device AI, and heavy photo editing workflows. That's why the base model's RAM configuration could become a major talking point, especially if price pressure forces Google to keep it lower. Pixel 11 camera leaks, what each model could offer. Now let's get into the category that defines Pixel phones' cameras. According to the rumored specifications, the Pixel 11 camera setup could be phone NKP main camera 30 MP ultra wide, camera 10.8 MEP 5x telephoto, camera 10.5 MEP front camera. Pixel 11 Pro and Pixel 11 Pro XL camera setups are rumored to be 50 megapixels main, camera 48 MP ultra wide, camera 48 MP telephoto with 5x optical, zoom 42 MP selfie camera, and the Pixel 11 Pro Fold camera system is rumored to include Pixel Pro P camera 10.5 MP ultra wide, camera 10.8 MP telephoto, camera 10 MP front, camera 10 MP inner camera. On paper, the Pro models are clearly positioned as the best camera experience, especially with a higher res ultra wide and telephoto setup plus a big selfie camera upgrade. But remember, Pixel photography isn't only about hardware. Google's computational photography often makes a bigger difference than raw megapixels. That's why Tensor G6 and Android 17 camera processing improvements could matter just as much as the sensors themselves. Pixel 11 battery leaks, the numbers to no battery. Capacities are also rumored, and they suggest Google is aiming for solid all-day performance, especially on the XL model. Pixel 11 battery, 4,940 mAh. Pixel 11 Pro.